Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ethan Bernard, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my experience with Borderlands 3, my overall thoughts on the game coming from the perspective of someone who never played the first two and who usually plays games alone, and me and my friend Dan's experience beating the entire game in a single setting. So when the game came out, me and him did a 24-hour charity stream over on my Twitch channel, where we ended up beating the entirety of the campaign along with a pretty good amount of the side missions in about 23.5 hours. And we had a pretty good time doing it. Alright, the game's pretty fun, I will say. The story and the end game feel a bit lackluster, but overall the gameplay more than makes up for that, and I'm excited to see what they add to the game down the road. I ended up playing as Flak, the Beastmaster. This guy does a ton of damage end game, he's pretty fun to play, and his voice lines are absolutely phenomenal. My friend played as the gunner, Mose. Not a huge fan, but he was like some little ripoff diva running around having a damn good time. So that was definitely a thing in this playthrough. Now, talking about the story, again, I never played Borderlands 1 or 2. I played an hour of Borderlands 1 for the channel a few months ago, but that's about the entirety of the experience I have with the franchise. And the story was definitely geared towards people who have already played the franchise. Obviously, that's to be expected, and 90% of the people that are playing this have probably played the first two. That being said, the story felt very underwhelming, and I didn't really feel a connection to any of the characters or events that were happening in the story because of the lack of knowledge from the first two games. Like I mentioned earlier, the gameplay more than makes up for that. The gunplay, the movement, and the overall fluidity and smoothness of the gameplay is absolutely fantastic in this game. I remember in Borderlands 1 and 2 being underwhelmed by how the whole thing worked. Everything felt kind of clunky, some of the animations were iffy, but this game clears up all of those things for me, and it felt so damn good to play. The variety of environments and enemy types and just all the different classes and skills and guns, and oh my god, there's so many guns, people, is absolutely ridiculous. But Gearbox did nerf the loot that you get from the end tier difficulties, and some of those guns are now quite a bit harder to get. Once you beat the game, you have access to 3 additional difficulties and a New Game Plus mode. The difficulties are labeled Mayhem 1, 2, and 3, and the New Game Plus is labeled True Vault Hunter mode. Essentially, you get more loot, you have a bigger challenge because there's some random factors that happen throughout the story, and just a whole lot of stuff is happening. Now, with Mayhem, it's basically increasing the challenge for an increased reward. This mode is what you pretty much default play on after you beat the story because it also scales up anything that you haven't done yet to your level to make sure that you're adequately rewarded for anything you do. But honestly, the nerf to the loot in Mayhem 3 was like, you know? It just didn't really make me feel that good about the game because I didn't feel like I was being properly rewarded for what I geared up to be able to complete. Now, there is an endgame mode you unlock after beating the story. There's a few of them. You have the Slaughterhouse and you have the Proving Grounds. This is basically just rooms full of enemies you have to kill. Alright, Proving Grounds is literally clear 3 rooms of enemies, kill a boss, open a chest. We did over 10 runs of Mayhem 3 Proving Grounds, and only 1 chest out of all of them dropped a legendary weapon. It was absolutely insane to me. I expected a lot more rewards from like what's supposedly the endgame activity, and ultimately the most rewarding thing to do in the game is to farm a boss that you kill halfway through the story over and over and over and over, and that gets old pretty damn quick. Now, after me and Dan beat the story, a couple days later I returned to the game alone to grind to max level and start farming loot, and I will say the game is definitely very, very, very lackluster when it comes to the solo experience. I enjoyed the game 10 times more when I have someone to play with, and when I'm alone it feels like more of a chore to farm or anything without a friend, especially because in boss battles many a times there's no ads on the ground, so if you die, unless you have the ability to kill the boss right then and there, there's no way to get a second wind and you have to restart the whole damn thing over again, which is pretty asinine to me. A down but not out system doesn't really work in a single player experience. I get that you can kill an enemy and revive yourself, but in boss battles, which is pretty much the only rewarding endgame activity, that doesn't really take into account. Anyway, those are kind of my initial impressions of the game. I have about 65-70 hours clocked into the game as Flak so far. I played as the Beastmaster. I've got one of those fade away crit builds that all the big YouTubers are showing off. and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about Borderlands content. A lot of you have requested me to make content on this game, but I will tell you, the content space here is very aggressively competed for. There's these YouTubers that pump out 3 or 4 videos a day. This is the best weapon, this is the best farm, how to get to level 50 in 20 minutes. Like, I can't compete with the people that are putting out 3-4 videos a day because their workflow is way more efficient than mine, and their knowledge of the game far exceeds what I know right now, because I'm coming in from a perspective of never having played Borderlands, and these people have thousands of hours into the franchise. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of Borderlands 3 down in the comments below. If you do want to see me make videos about this game, what do you want to see? What characters, weapons, etc. do you want to see me make guides on? Any particular farming methods or any of that? I know it's already been done, but I'm definitely down to put my take on it. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey naysayers, how y'all been? It's been a minute, but I'm in it to win, and I ain't finished. This is the starting gun, and I'ma run it to the front until I'm number one, son. This is a rhythmic defibrillation, innovative old school to thrill the nation. I've been patiently waiting and building steam, but I'm back with the bounce like a trend.